Afternoon all. Just doing a quick video once over, show and tell we like to call it, of my brand new knife by our forum friend Mr. Fallen. This is the Bolo Brushknife Zombie Slayer, the BBZS, and she's a beaut. By far my favorite knife I've ever owned, and I've had tons of knives come and gone. Nice forward weight to it with that big belly. Steep waist, pretty damn sharp, I gotta say. You can see from the shine there is a secondary bevel on it. It's very well put on. Quite a thick spine. Comes to a decent point. False edge here. Can thrust pretty well though with that point, I'll tell you. I've tried it already on some bottles. Heck of a skull crusher on the back. Nice lanyard hole. Piece of leather lace he threw in there for me, which is just the right size for safe handling, getting it on and off easily without having to worry about slipping, losing the knife. I like the what do you call it? I'm blanking on the name for this part here, but that's going to be perfect for when I make a sheath for this, to put a strap across and put a snap on that so it can hold in place. I'll give you some quick measurements of this thing. I don't have the weight because I don't have anything to weigh it with. I need a fish scale or something. But it comes in, according to Fallen, at 1 pound 10 ounces, if I'm not mistaken. And tip to tip, it is 18¼ inches. The grip, the wood piece itself, is just over 5 inches, which is a perfect spacing. You know, that leaves about 1.5 inches for the skull crusher portion. And the blade from the wood end of the grip is just about 12 inches. Maybe just a touch shy. It's perfect size, I gotta say, for its intended purpose. You know, brush removal, trailblazing, cutting down crops, hacking and slashing zombie heads, removing limbs so that you can get away a little easier. General all-purpose duty here for sure. For heavy duty though, absolutely. This would be welcome in anybody's pack if you were out in the middle of the forest, if you were working on farmland, if you were you know, cutting through some underbrush. And it served me well already. I've split some wood with it. I actually split what I had left of my firewood, so I don't have any good pieces left to show you. I've got some cheap soft pine that's been dried out, and it's pretty lightweight. It's not impressive to cut into it. But I do have a selection of some bottles waiting for their death, so I can give you an idea of its slicing power and cutting power. And one leftover beach mat from this summer that I've been soaking right now that I'm going to bring out too and see how well it cuts against that. So spine thickness, I forgot to check that one for you. Looking at 1/4 inch. Beauty. If I haven't said it before, and I know I have, everybody should get something made by Fallen. You want something made by this man in your collection. A couple of axes I picked up from him already are beautiful throwers, ton of fun, and they work great at splitting wood as well for me to set kindling. You know, get my stage 2 wood ready to go, and they're a hell of a lot of fun in the backyard. He knows what he's doing with a grinder and a piece of steel. Heat treat on this is fantastic. The edge is very well held together. I hacked apart chunks of a 2x4 off an old pallet that I had laying around, and it just tore right into that sucker. So the finish that he puts on this thing is for use. It's a utilitarian finish. That's what I prefer for any cutting blade that I have, actually. I don't like a high polish on a knife or a sword that I'm going to use all the time, because it's constantly going to show marring and scratching and any slight use to it. So it's got, I think he finishes up at 800, if I remember right from his sights, on some of the higher points, and he does use belt and compound for the edge, so it does have some shine there. But overall, this is a utilitarian finish. I also like, and let's see if I can get the macro good enough to see here on this. He leaves a rougher grind on the spine, which I far prefer. Gives you a bit of a better feel to it. let you be aware of where it is. See if I can get this finish to show for you. And that edge. And we'll flip it. Yeah. There's a couple of spots, like you can see there, where you can see a bit of leftover marks from the grinding. Nothing ground into it, it's just a bit of staining that's on it still that I can clean up more if I needed to. There's the crusher again. And I gotta say, this is one fantastic grip, solid as hell. I was thinking of maybe switching it out for just a different piece of wood, just because I like to make stuff out of wood. But Mr. Fallen, no sir. Tell your wife she does excellent work, and this is not changing at all. Very comfortable in my hand. Feels just right. Wouldn't change it for a thing. Alright, we're just over 5 minutes here in time, so I better get to some cutting for you. That was better. It's getting wet in here. Just get something to wipe it off with quick for you. Get the water off it. Check what I'm doing here. Get the zoom on. Love it, man. Love it. This mat has only been soaking for a few minutes, to be honest. I hope it cuts okay. Not bad. Nice sharpening job, friend. Not bad. I've had worse cuts with swords. Knives and axes by Fallen. Get you some.